Well, for this lesson, we just have to kind of answer the questions it tells us to. So if we're finding the length of a side, um, if we're looking for a side length adjacent, just means next to, um, we'll write those lengths down. We can find the slopes. And then we're going to try to figure out if it's a rectangle, a rhombus, a square, none of these. First of all, we have to remember a rectangle will have 90-degree angles, so the slopes will be opposite reciprocals. A rhombus would be all of the sides are congruent, and it doesn't matter about the angles. Rectangles, again, the angles are 90 degrees. And then a square is both a rectangle and a rhombus. So if you click square, you're going to click the other two also. And if it's none of those, we'll just click none of these. So see, they did this problem. They found out the slopes were opposite reciprocals, which means they're 90 degrees. The two sides were exactly the same. So they decided it was a square, which means it's also a rhombus and a rectangle. Cool. So we just have to do what they ask us to. So the slope of WX. So we go WX, it looks like it's negative. Let's type in negative so I don't forget. And then rise over run. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to the left, 1, 2, 3. So 5/3. Also, you could look between the points W and X, and you could say, oh, between 4 and -1 is 5 units, and between -4 and -1 is 3 units. So you just look kind of how far apart the X's and Y's are, and the Y's go in the numerator. Side adjacent to WX, so we just have to pick either WZ or XY. So adjacent just means right next. Let's just do WZ. And that's also a negative slope. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -3/5. Whoa, opposite, but they're not reciprocals. These are both negatives. Negative. Wait a minute. Is that true? Are all the slopes negative? Huh. Okay, so then we're going to do the length of WX. Okay, so the length of WX, it's like doing that right triangle, and we know one side's 5 and one side's 3. So we square both of them, so 25 and 9, and add them together, and then take the square root. So it's 25 plus 9 is not 35, 34. And then a side adjacent, so if we did the side WZ, we have 3 and 5. So it's the same thing, the square root of 34. So, could it be a rhombus? Oh yeah, it's a rhombus because all the sides are the same. The slopes are not opposite reciprocals, so they're not 90 degrees. Of course, we could see that just looking at it. So it's not a rectangular square, but the sides are the same, so it is a rhombus. Okay, so again, we're just doing what they ask us to. The length of QR. Whoa, that's really long. So let's see how far apart they are in the Y. It's going to be easier for me to look this way. So between -5 and 4 is 9 units. So we're going to square 9. And then between -5 and 1 is 6 units. So we'll square 6. So wait, we squared 9, 81. Square 6 is 36. Oh my goodness, they don't let me use a calculator. So let me write this down. 81 plus 36, 117. So the side length of QR is square root of 117. Then we need the side next to it. So we want one of these little sides. Oh, so it's not going to be the same for sure. But let's see, there are 1, 2. So this side of the triangle is 2, and this side is 3. So we square the 2, and we square the 3, and then we add them together and take the square root. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 9 plus 4 is 13, and the square root of 13. The slope of QR, so we rose, what did we say? I can't remember, 9? 9, and went to the right 6. So it's 9 divided by 6, reduced by 3, so 3 divided by 2. So we divided 9 and 6 by 3 to get 3/2. The slope of a side adjacent to QR is a -2/3. Oh, check that out. those are opposite reciprocals. So these are 90 degrees. So this is definitely a rectangle, but it's not a rhombus and it's not a square. So we'll go on to the next one. And we have, okay, definitely does not look like rectangle or a square or a rhombus even. Okay, so let's just look at the slope of QR. That looks negative. And rise 1 over, oh gosh, 4 to negative 4, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So negative 1/8. And then the slope of the side adjacent, let's just do SR. Adjacent just means next to. So we rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and run 2. So it's a positive 5/2. The length of QR, so what was that? 1 squared plus 8 squared is 64 plus 1 is square root of 65. Then you take the square root. So you square them both, add them together, and take square root. Side length adjacent, so that was 5 and 2. So we square both of those. 25 and 4 is 29, and add them together is 29. Take the square root, 29. It's not anything. We don't have opposite reciprocals, not a rectangle or square, it's not a rhombus, not all the sides are the same length, so it's none of those. That's kind of fun. Okay, that's the end of the lesson.